I inherited an old mansion from my Uncle Edward on the outskirts of Boston. Everything seemed normal except for the attic, sealed with a bronze padlock. Nightly footsteps above my bedroom and warnings in my uncle's journal intrigued me, until one night the padlock fell. What I found upstairs changed my life forever.
You're entering Universe Paranormal, where the unknown comes to life.
3 months ago, I moved into an old house on the outskirts of Boston, a property I inherited from my great-uncle Edward. The mansion, though weathered, retained its early 20th century grandeur, with its ornate plasterwork and leaded windows. The only thing that unsettled me was the attic, which remained sealed with a heavy bronze padlock. On my first night in the house, I heard footsteps above my bedroom, but I convinced myself it was just the wooden beams expanding. For weeks, I tried to open that padlock, testing every key I found in my uncle's study, without success. The attic became an obsession. One rainy afternoon, while going through old documents, I discovered my uncle's journal. In its yellowed pages, he described a series of disturbing events related to the attic. Apparently, in the 1950s, a family had rented the house, and their youngest son mysteriously disappeared. The last people to see him claimed he was climbing the stairs to the attic. The current padlock had been installed by my uncle after that incident, and in his journal, he specifically warned that the door should never be opened. But one night, while I was sleeping, a metallic noise woke me up. It was the unmistakable sound of the padlock hitting the wooden floor. I got out of bed, my heart pounding. When I reached the second-floor hallway, I saw the attic hatch completely open. The wooden ladder was extended, as if inviting me up. The air felt thick, and an odor of dampness and something else, something ancient and unpleasant, was drifting down from above. I grabbed a flashlight and began climbing the steps, which creaked under my weight. The attic was a vast, dark space, filled with furniture covered in dusty sheets. In one corner, a wooden cradle was rocking gently, though there was no draft. As I shone the light around the room, I discovered scratch marks on the walls, some forming unintelligible words. The beam revealed an old mirror partially covered by cloth. As I approached, I saw a child's face watching me from the reflection, but when I turned around, there was no one behind me. The mirror showed a different version of the attic, one where shadows moved and walls bled. Suddenly, the hatch slammed shut. I rushed to it, but it was impossible to open from inside. I began pounding on the wood, shouting for help, when I heard a child's laugh behind me. The temperature dropped drastically, and the flashlight started to flicker. In the darkness, I could make out a small figure approaching, dragging its feet. The light revealed glimpses of a child wearing clothes from another era, but his face was distorted, as if he had been underwater for too long. The child extended a hand toward me. His fingers were long and ended in black nails. He whispered something in a language I didn't understand, but it chilled my blood. I backed away until I hit the mirror, which shattered. Each fragment reflected a different scene of horror. Trapped people, pleading faces, hands trying to escape. The child kept getting closer, and I could see his eyes were completely black. At that moment, I remembered the words from my uncle's journal. He had locked something in the attic, something that should never be released. I managed to reach the hatch and, with strength I didn't know I had, got open. I ran down the stairs while hearing the child's footsteps following me. When I reached the hallway, I slammed the hatch shut and locked the padlock. The banging and laughter continued for hours. The next day, I hired a team of masons to seal off the attic access. I had them brick up the hatch and cover it with cement. But every night, I hear scratching above my head, and sometimes, when I look at the ceiling, I can see damp patches forming children's faces. The original padlock occasionally appears in random places throughout the house, as if to remind me that some things should remain locked away. And worst of all, since that night, every mirror in the house momentarily shows that child's reflection, watching me, waiting for me to make the mistake of opening that door that should never have been opened.